What's up, guys? Ryan.Mahoney here with Goosehead Insurance. I'm sitting with Brian Charlebois from RestorePro, and they are a restoration company here in the Carolinas. And just to give you some context of what they do, so a few years back, my folks traveled to Ireland, and we got one of those huge rainstorms. And my poor granny, who lives in the basement, but it's not as bad as it sounds because it's a pretty big basement. She started seeing water down there. So with my folks being out of the country, I called Brian, and your team was there super quick, hedged all the damage, and was able to fix it. So that's what these guys do. Another example is fires as well. So we had last month in December, I had a client call me. They had a fire in their attic, and I reached out to Brian, and they were there within 45 minutes. So thank you, Brian, and thanks for hanging out with me here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Give us an overview, and those are a couple stories, but give us an overview of kind of what you guys do and how you're helping folks out there.
So we're RestorePro Reconstruction. So we have an office here locally in Charlotte. We have an office in Raleigh. We have an office in Fayetteville. We're probably soon to open an office in Greensboro as well. But we are in the disaster restoration business. So we focus on water damage, fire damage, mold remediation, trauma cleanup, vehicle runs into a building, and anything building related. And it's a majority of it's through insurance. So we build relationships with insurance agents, property managers throughout the Carolinas. And it's the biggest thing is having someone that you can trust, that you can say, hey, Brian, this client's got a water damage. Can you go look at it before we file a claim? Because over the phone, everyone's threshold is like, is this a big deal? It's hard to judge. You get that one homeowner that says, oh my gosh, I got water everywhere.
My kitchen's flooded.
Yeah, and it's not. We show up, it's just a little stain where, or that someone's like, hey, I got a little issue, but I think I'm gonna go to work, and we convince them, hey, let's get out there just to look at it right away first, and wow, the whole house is affected. What we really try to do is educate the policyholders on when they should file a claim or shouldn't file a claim. We let them know that we are not the insurance company. We don't dictate coverage at all, but we can evaluate and give them a better idea. Hey, should I file a claim? Is this going to be something that's going to be covered? Leakage, seepage over a period of time is not covered. If your deductible is $1,000, does it make sense to file a claim if
it's underneath that?
Underneath that, or a few $100s more. So we evaluate that, let the agent know what we find, and kind of just educate the homeowner. And then
that's important for a couple reasons. If you're a homeowner from an insurance standpoint, a zero paid out claim is technically not really going to affect you if you're shopping for insurance. If the frequency, though, if you have a claim maybe a year later that shows up that's a legitimate claim, and then there's a zero paid out claim that's on your record, it shows more of a frequency. So the more stuff you can leave off the record, if it's not going to be covered anyways, or it's not going to meet the deductible, is best. So I know from our standpoint too, we always kind of suggest, hey, let's get you guys out there first so we can get that suggestion, and you guys take a look at the situation to find out if it's going to be worth it to move forward.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't affect them down the road.
Yeah, even something that's a small claim, like maybe like a dishwasher leak, or appears to be a small claim. There's a lot, if you're not getting in your crawl space and checking it out, there's a lot of stuff that you may not see. And if you don't address it or have someone come out there and kind of evaluate it right away, it could turn into something where it's a bigger issue down the road. Well, now it's deemed maybe long term, and that's sort of frowned upon in the insurance world as far as coverage is.
Then it turns into a maintenance issue, right? Which is not covered.
No, insurance is not a maintenance policy.
No, that's right. So speaking of maintenance, Brian, we've talked about this before, but go over it. We're obviously in wintertime now, so what's some kind of basic tips that folks can do to maintain their home through the winter time to maybe help prevent claims? I know you mentioned even like cleaning leaves from the gutters and what other things?
One of the biggest thing too is disconnecting the hose from the
Of the faucet,
the faucet,
the
outside faucet.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
would disconnect that,
which I probably need to do.
Yeah, that and if you go on a trip, if you go out of town, I would always make sure you keep your heat on. If the temperatures are going to be cold, don't just turn the heat off when you go away. Another thing, not cold related, but your water heaters. Pay attention to your water heater. A lot of times in the Carolinas, the water heaters are in the attic. So the typical lifespan of a water heater is probably 15 years. And we get a lot of water damages from water heaters that
flows in.
Yeah. It's just in your attic. You go out of town, you go to Disney with your family, and you come home, and all of a sudden your entire house is full of water. So, a lot of times just pay attention to your water heater. Go up there and look at it. Hey, if it's 15 years old, should I have it replaced? If you start seeing rust, stuff around like that. That's a real common one. But just be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to your toilets. Anywhere where you have water, is where you can potentially have issues.
That's where we see. I'm sure you guys see it a lot more obviously than we do. But water is a big issue. Whether it's a refrigerator leaking, the hot water heaters.
The washing machine,
bursting, washing machine.
Make sure that if you go to move into a house, make sure that the water lines are connected to the back. So you don't have an issue there. Because a lot of times wash machines now too are on the second floor for convenience.
Right.
So that just that goes, and it's going to go all second floor and
come down
first
into
floor.
the kitchen. Yeah. What do I do, Brian? If I feel like I have a claim, or even like a fire, like what's the first step in that? Because that's kind of one of those. I know for me, if my house is on fire, that's a big panic, and sometimes you don't even know where to even start. What's the best thing?
It's usually when you have a house fire or something major like that, you're not even thinking straight, right? Like you may not even know at the time who your insurance company is, which is almost amazing. Like they don't even know who their insurance is. So I would. For one, I would make sure you have your insurance company, your insurance agent's phone in your cell phone, and make sure you know who they are. Because often we'll go to jobs and they're like, yeah, we just don't even know who our agent is.
It's common. We run into that all the time.
So, the biggest thing is trust. Who am I going to trust? Because when there's a fire, there's a lot of people that just come out of the woodwork. You have what's called public adjusters. You have other contractors that just show up. So typically they trust their agents. So I always recommend giving your agent a call. And suggesting what the next step they should take. So when we go out to the fires, when we get called out, we go out there. We're contractors, but really we're a lot of times we're grieving counselors. We're there just to let them know, hey, everything's going to be okay. This is the process.
This is what we do every day.
What we do. What are some sentimental items? The TVs, all that other stuff. That's why you have great insurance. They take care of all that. But what's something that great grandma gave me that may not have a monetary value after the fire department leaves and stuff? Can we go in there and kind of get that stuff? Do you have any medicine that you might need? Just really walk them through the stuff that they're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
The stuff that the house and the boarding up. Yeah, we'll board up the house. We'll secure the house. We can pull all the contents out. But it's the initial, let them know it's going to be okay. And then, hey, these are the things you need to start thinking about. Let me know what's in here. But I always say the first 48 hours are usually really important if it's a fire or water damage. The first 48 hours are very critical.
So water damage, and we touched on this a little bit. So the washer leaks, you kind of, clean it up with a towel or something like that. It leaks again. Like from your standpoint, where do you kind of draw the line on things to maybe give you guys a call where it's a little bit bigger of a problem than maybe initially, like a common homeowner is just going to think like, oh, we
just cleaned it up. We'll go out and look at evaluate anything, at no cost. It's free for us to go out there and look at it and, give you evaluation where, hey, you do need to file a claim. Hey, you have a bigger issue, or hey, you really don't have an issue at all. If anything, it gives folks kind of a peace of mind. Mm-hmm. So, RestorePro Reconstruction's more than willing to go and look at that kind of stuff. Anyone has a little issue that they think, sometimes those little issues are bigger issues, and then we're going to go in there just like it's our mom's house or grandma's house and treat them like, hey, you don't need to file a claim for this. We're not going to look to say, this is a bigger deal than what it really is. It's, so.
What other suggestions can you give homeowners throughout, like, as it relates to kind of like maintenance or even in claims events and all that stuff that you see?
Well, I mean, definitely pay attention to, like I said before, like your water heater and stuff like that. In your maintenance, your
are those
your
like the biggest things you see? Like,
yeah,
is it the appliances and stuff that cause a lot of the water issues?
Yeah, any of the appliances.
What about roofs, man? We haven't hit on roofs.
So roofs, that's one of those where the Carolinas, we do get hail damage.
Mm-hmm. We see that a lot on our side, where there's a lot of roofs that are replaced around here that are not that old because of the hail. Yeah,
I think the biggest thing as a homeowner when it comes to roofing is you really need to be careful of those fly-by-night guys that have an out-of-town license plate and they come knock on your door. They're willing to waive your deductible if you sign up with them, put a sign in the yard. We're doing, several of the neighbors, and you have hail damage, and they've never even went up on your roof.
Gotcha.
So, it's kind of mind-blowing, which a lot of people sign up for that, and just because of the whole deductible thing, and they don't even think to reach out to their agent, who they have a relationship with,
to find out what the deal is.
Do they legitimately have?
So let me ask you this, because you're in the restoration side of things. So do people people can still call you about the roof damage, even though technically you're not the roofer, right?
Yeah. So, we have several roofing companies that we work with, but yeah, they can give us a call regarding to come in and take a look at that. So our specialty really is when the tree goes through the roof,
Gotcha.
Where you have to, remove the tree, you have to board it up, and then you start getting into a lot of structural issues. That's really where our specialty comes into. But we have relationships with several reputable roofing companies throughout here that I'd even recommend, to anybody. But the biggest thing is just don't. There's a lot of good trusted roofing companies, but don't listen to the first guy that comes and knocks on your door. It's not like you won something. He has an agenda.
We do get those calls from clients every now and again where they're getting door knocked from the whole neighborhood.
And then you got to look too. It's like, okay, if I have a brand new roof, architectural 30-year roof, and I have a little bit of hail on there, it's only 2-3 years old. Does it make sense do I really need a roof? What's going up on my roof? Is it gonna cause a leak? What's going on? I would just say the biggest thing with roofing is just make sure whoever you have looking at your roof that you can trust, that they're going to be around too. When there's an issue with the warranty. So that's the biggest thing I would say with roofing. And then maintenance stuff is just pay attention to your house, to your home. Really, the gutters. It's a simple one. Make sure your gutters are clean so the water doesn't back up
during the fall and all that.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we hope this is informative, because I always tell people every day here that even the smoothest run claim is not the most convenient process, because it does disrupt your day. It's your daily routine, whether it's your water, you have a water leak in the house, or you hit something in your car, or someone hits you. It's inconvenient no matter what. So having some folks out there that you can trust that are doing a good job for you is super important, because from our standpoint, for both me and Brian, we just want to make it as less of an inconvenience for you as possible, because we do understand it's not a convenient time. It's not fun to have your whole kitchen tore up and put new floors in and have to cook meals for kids and do all that fun stuff, or even relocate for a little while. So
we're not in the business of, hey honey, let's put an addition on our house, this is going to be real exciting. We're in the business of
let's get you back to normal as soon as possible.
Yeah, oh shit, we need to call somebody. I mean, that's just how it is. Like, hey, and it's very disruptive. So it's we understand that. We really do. So we try to show some empathy. When dealing with our customers.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for being with us, Brian.
Thanks,
I will definitely hit Brian's contact info and his company there, so that way you can kind of store that. If you have any questions, you can reach out to him as well. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.